WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Breaking news tonight. A person has died tonight after a car crash in Tishomingo County. Lee County Coroner Carolyn Green says the victim was taken to NMMC and died around 7:30 tonight. That driver was not wearing a seatbelt. The crash involved more than one car. It was on Highway 366 near Golden. We're not releasing the person's name. We'll do that tomorrow morning when family members know what happens. To an open meeting tonight. People had the chance tonight to give their opinions on the Columbus Police Department. The consultant hired to evaluate the department met with people in the area for the first time. Our Quentin Smith joins us with more.
That's right. This was the first of 6 meetings that Dr. K.B. Turner plans to have with the public. It was a big crowd on hand as police officers, residents, city and county leaders filled up the Townsend Community Center. Now, this meeting was for residents who live in Ward 1. People came out to address the concerns and issues they have with the police department and to also talk about things they think can be done to make the city of Columbus safer. Residents talked about how they like to see more out-of-school activities for the youth and how they like to see the police interact with residents in the community more. And Dr. Turner also talked to residents about things they can do to help out the police department, such as policing their own community and starting more neighborhood watch programs.
I think it went great. There's a lot of concerns in our community, and I think Dr. Turner did a great job addressing those concerns. But we as the community, the citizens, we got to realize that we got a part to play also and cannot put everything on the police.
Actually, my concern is our young people. I am real concerned about them. I'm concerned about the crimes that's in our neighborhoods, that's in our communities. I want something to be done about that.
Now, the next meeting will be for Ward 5 residents. That'll take place next Monday at the Sim Scott Community Center beginning at 6 p.m.
Quentin, thank you. A Sherman man is under arrest tonight after police say there was a standoff this afternoon. Sherman Police Chief Joel Spellin says Shelton Adams fired shots at officers. Then he barricaded himself inside that house. You can see the broken windows there. Police say they were just there to check on Adams, but neighbors said he was acting erratically. After more than 2 hours, officers did get him out safely. This was near Wild Bill's truck stop. Deputies from other counties were there, and Tupelo sent a SWAT team.
We've had several calls over the years with him with domestic violence and general disturbances. Never anything to this degree has happened here before.
Ellen says Adams will have an evaluation and they're not sure what charges they'll file. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson joins us now for a look at the weather.
Well, Tommy, right now in our viewing area, we're all nice and quiet here, very mild as well. Live look in downtown Columbus. Not too much action on the street, not too much action in the sky, which is certainly good news. Upper 50s, low 60s around here. Very mild for this time of year. We have some quiet weather in our neck of the woods, but there are some showers starting to bud up here to our west, and those will likely blossom up into some storms as we get into our Tuesday morning. Now in Columbus, 8 o'clock, 61 degrees, a lot of cloud cover, but by mid to late morning on Tuesday, a pretty good chance for showers and storms. Some could be locally strong to severe. By the afternoon, though, that wave moves away. We may get up to around 70. Your full forecast on that severe weather threat in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thank you. State health officials say today that they've confirmed the first case of the Zika virus in Mississippi. The Mississippi State Health Department says that there are 2 cases in the southwest part of the state in Warren County. The people traveled to an area north of Venezuela. There were 23 Zika cases in 2016 in Mississippi. An investigation continues tonight into a Sunday night shooting in Tupelo. Tupelo police say a gunshot injured one person who was treated and released. This was around 9 o'clock at night. It was at a home on Rankin Boulevard. Police have not said if they've arrested anyone or why the shooting took place. A man is now facing a capital murder charge in connection with the quadruple homicide in West Mississippi early this morning. To the west of us, Yazoo City is this scene. The State Department of Public Safety says U.S. Marshals arrested 27-year-old Bradell Barber today. Those are photos of him. He was out on bond for a homicide last year. Law enforcement officials say 4 people were shot and killed outside of a club that was early this morning after an argument. All 4 were under the age of 40. Starkville police say they're looking for 2 people who left a restaurant without paying. They then hit a worker with their car on the way out. This is surveillance video of these two people. It was from last Thursday at the restaurant La Terraza in Starkville. Police say they didn't pay. An employee confronted them in the parking lot. They were driving a white sedan, police say. There's no update on the worker's condition. Anyone with information can call police or Crime Stoppers. There are 2 arrests after that police chase in Columbus Sunday that ended with a car crashing into a house. 33-year-old Carlos Bodie and 30-year-old James Williams, they're charged with having weed. This car hit that house Sunday afternoon after crashing into another car. This is at the intersection of 15th Street and 11th Avenue North. No one was seriously injured, though, in that crash. Some people in a Tupelo neighborhood say it's time to put surveillance cameras in a local park. The issue came up after there was a shooting a few days before this past Christmas. This is Theron Nichols Park. That shooting there left a high school football player paralyzed. Another person was also shot in that. People in the Southern Heights neighborhood say cameras could identify people committing crimes. They say they'll talk to city council members. That's tomorrow night. It'll be about getting security cameras.
Cameras would definitely be a big help because we could identify some of the activity that goes on in the park, and it won't prevent something from happening. It might deter something from happening, but it would absolutely be easy to identify the people who are involved in whatever activity that's illegal or not appropriate in the park.
City officials say they're looking at options for placing surveillance cameras at all major parks in Tupelo. And people in a Lee County neighborhood want the city council to look at a smell coming from a sewer. Members of the Green Tea Neighborhood Association say that there are clogged and backed up sewer and drainage systems in the area. Tupelo Water and Light provides services there. They say heavy rains can cause even more problems.
It stops up the sewage, stops up the drainage, and people don't want to smell that. You wouldn't want to come out of a neighborhood like that. Well, nobody want to come and live in this neighborhood like that. And you can't even come, sell a house, $22,000 might be worth $50,000. Everything that brings value down.
Johnny Timmons of Tupelo Water and Light says there's a community development block grant they might be able to get that would fix the issues. There's an update today on potential changes to who could be in charge of maintaining parks in Lowndes County. County supervisors passed a measure today. It'll make a request to the state legislature. Lowndes County would like to give up to $350,000 to cities to use on parks and recreation. County and the city of Columbus, the leaders are still discussing the specifics of ending that parks agreement that they currently have. They hope the state legislature can give them permission to do this. They hope to have it by the end of the current session. And new tonight, the widow of former Union County tax collector and assessor Randy Dunham will fill his role until a special election. County supervisors swore in to Maria Dunham today. Her husband, Randy, died last week after an extended illness. The special election will be November 7th.
Nothing on our old live Doppler radar right now, but that will be changing tomorrow morning. The latest on the severe weather threat after the break.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Well, look at this great sunset we had in West Point this evening. Not too shabby there. Things may be a little bit different as we get into our Tuesday, depending on the storm situation, but that was earlier tonight. Let's talk about our Tupelo planner for Tuesday. This is a pretty good proxy for everywhere else. Upper 50s, low 60s at 7 o'clock. There could be a few light showers around for you in Tupelo. Definitely have your umbrella on standby. By mid to late morning, there could be some pretty good showers and storms in the region. Some could be locally strong to severe. And then by the afternoon, I think that system will move away and we should break up those clouds a little bit. Upper 60s to low 70s once again behind the storms. Now, as we showed you going the break, there's nothing happening in our viewing area right now, and really nothing going on up here towards Memphis or eastern Arkansas. You see a few tiny blips out there. Those could be the signs, the first signs of some of those storms that will be firing up later tonight. So the better bet for severe weather during the overnight hours, probably a hail risk out here towards Arkansas. As we get into tomorrow, though, really in the morning hours for us locally, and even in Alabama tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon, a risk for some severe weather, category 2 of 5, primarily a wind and hail threat at this point. That's the way it's looking. We have some additional storms beginning to to fire up some showers as well out here across western Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma. The driver is this batch of clouds here in Oklahoma and Texas. That's this upper level trough that's moving in, and that's going to gin up these storms. We also have low level wind really picking up just a few thousand feet above the ground. We have these winds howling right now, and the purples are the strongest of the wind, and they will be right overhead tomorrow morning. And this is what's going to be producing the storms as this wind energy moves on through. The wind goes away tomorrow afternoon, and that should pull the storms away. Let me show you a futurecast. You can see these storms likely firing up sometime by 4 or 5 in the morning here in northwest Mississippi. As we go throughout the course of the morning hours, this line of storms will move farther east with time, and sometime after lunch it should be moving into Alabama. Now, we can't discount the threat of maybe an isolated storm or shower developing on the backside of that tomorrow afternoon, but I think the best bet for these storms will be during the morning hours tomorrow. A limited threat during the afternoon. Hail and wind, once again, the main threats here. Here's our city-by-city forecast. Upper 60s to low 70s across northeast Mississippi and west Alabama. A pretty warm one, even behind these storms that will be moving on through. We should squeeze out a little bit of sun action. Where's that 70 forecast? There it is, Tommy. You can see that we are still looking at some 70s on Wednesday, maybe some lingering showers and storms, but cooler, drier Thursday into Friday. We go back into the 70s again for this upcoming weekend, but we'll be watching these storms tomorrow morning.
Yeah, everyone can keep an eye on that, obviously, and if severe weather does hit and it is even more severe than maybe we thought, we'll be here. People can tune in tomorrow
That's right,
morning.
and we'll be following it.
Yeah, Keith, thank you very much. How did the Mississippi State women's basketball team set another record over the weekend? Head coach Vic Schaefer breaks down the difference maker for us coming up in sports. We'll be right back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Tommy Lopez.
To our Health Talk with Baptist segment. February is Heart Month. Tonight, Baptist is explaining what coronary artery disease is.
Hi, I'm Dr. John King, part of the cardiology team at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight, I want to talk to you about coronary artery disease. The coronary arteries are the blood vessels that supply oxygen to the heart muscle. Coronary artery disease is narrowing or blockage of these blood vessels by plaque, similar to a clog in a pipe. Plaque is made up of cholesterol deposits that have built up over time. Coronary artery disease can stop the heart from getting enough oxygen, causing the heart muscle to die. Coronary artery disease is the most common type of heart disease in America. It can be silent for many years before causing problems, such as weakening the heart muscle. This may lead to heart failure, or an irregular heartbeat or arrhythmia can also develop. The symptoms of coronary artery disease include chest pain or pressure, shortness of breath, and sometimes nausea, sweating, or fatigue. For some people, the first sign of coronary artery disease is a heart attack. Risk factors for developing coronary artery disease including being overweight, physically inactive, high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, high cholesterol, and kidney disease. A family history of heart disease also increases your risk. If you are at risk or are having these symptoms, please tell your doctor about it today. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will talk about how we treat coronary artery disease.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The Bulldogs senior class continues to set the bar at Mississippi State. We have more from head coach Vic Schaefer on his history makers. That's next in sports.
It's WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
We've yet to watch the Ole Miss women's basketball team in the month of February. The Rebels haven't played since January 29th. Ole Miss was back in action tonight in Gainesville, looking for its first SEC road win since 2015. Matt Insel wearing the same tie, I think, as he did in the win against Georgia. So hoping for some good luck. I think he would get it. Here early on, Alyssa Alston's going to get the offensive rebound. Medina Muhammad, she missed the shot, and she's going to make that one. She'd have game-high 22 points. Florida lead by 1 after 1. Second quarter we go. Shelby Gibson gets behind the three-point line, or behind the zone, hits the corner triple, showing off the long range. She had herself a career night. Look at the move from Shanjika Sessoms to Shelby Gibson, who had a career-high 16 points in this one. Taylor Manuel didn't play a single minute, so that's a big deal for Gibson to step up. 5-point game with a little less than 2 to go, but Alston, she's going to sink the floater to seal the game. Rebels, they get their first road SEC win since February 19th, 2015. They beat the Gators 84-75. Mississippi State women's basketball is now up to number 4 in the latest AP poll. Baylor actually just got upset too, so we could see some shakeup coming up later on next week. But the Bulldogs, they set another milestone with its win over Missouri Sunday. The senior class won its 100th game, and 2 of the seniors led the Bulldogs to its 23rd win on the season. Dominique Dillingham set a new career high with 24 points, going 5 of 9 from downtown, and Brianna Richardson added 13 points, putting herself over 1,000 for her career. Head coach Vic Schaefer says this team goes as far as the seniors will take them.
For us to get where we want to get to, these two have got to step up and be able to make shots and make plays. As a coach, number one, I'm just so happy for them. They believed when it wasn't easy to believe. They trusted us 4 years ago when it wasn't. They had to trust our vision, and man, have they made their own story and their own legacy here at Mississippi State, and they continue to build on it. I mean, they've won 100 games, y'all, and we're not done. I'm pretty sure they're going to have more than 100.
I'm glad that the 4 of us believed in our coaches and just the university, and I think just it's amazing how the program has evolved over these 4 years, and it's just amazing to see just how everything's coming together, and I'm going to love watching it grow from here.
It was a weekend full of 19-point comebacks, not only in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter, but Mississippi State men's basketball had a 19-point comeback win over Tennessee this past Saturday. State is now back to 500 in the conference. Thanks to the comeback, the young Bulldogs rallied without its leader, the only senior on the team, I.J. Reddy. Head coach Ben Howland said after Saturday's game that he's proud of the young guys for stepping up without their senior leader.
With him not playing at all, we were the youngest team in the country. So to have these guys so young and to have that kind of fight and find a way to come back is really, really exciting for me. I'm very, very happy for our team because we needed this one. This was a huge win for us against a really good team.
Coach Howland also said today, speaking of I.J. Reddy, he's still day-to-day, and now he's dealing with a back issue along with the leg injury that's been keeping him out in recent games for Mississippi State. So we'll take a look at the SEC men's standings. As of this point, Kentucky, they dropped a few spots after they got drubbed by Florida this past weekend. South Carolina, a team that's flown under the radar so far in the 2016-2017 year, they're now 9-1 in the conference. They lead the SEC. And how about that? State and Ole Miss, they're now back up to the upper echelon of the SEC standings. They're at 5-5. A lot of basketball still left to play. Both of those teams have the talent to make a run. And here's the bottom half. Ole Miss and Mississippi State have some contests coming up with these two, with a couple of these teams on here. We'll take a look at those. Coming up tomorrow, Mississippi State traveling to Auburn. Auburn struggled in SEC play, but they beat Alabama twice. And as we know, State has lost to Alabama in both of their action this year. And Ole Miss will face off against Tennessee, who's going to be coming off that loss to State on Saturday. And on the women's side, Mississippi State and Ole Miss back in action at home. The Mississippi State plays Vandy, and Ole Miss plays LSU. It's going to be 3 straight home games for Ole Miss as they head into the end of their conference play with the Mississippi State game coming up on Sunday, Tommy. So big week of basketball in SEC play, that's for sure.
Yeah, a chance for both MSU and Ole Miss to have some decent seeding for the SEC tournament. They're kind of right there in the middle of the pack.
Yep, exactly, and that's why they're just right there. Of
Yeah.
course, on the women's side, we expect Mississippi State to be a top 4 seed, but on the men's side, both of them are sitting there. A couple more wins here and there. We could see them make a run late in the season.
Yeah, and South Carolina, what a surprise right there at the top.
They're flown under the radar,
on the
man.
nice
No one's
side.
talking about them.
Yeah, all right, Tom, thank you. Final look at our weather coming up next.
All right, for tomorrow, strong to severe morning storms. We'll be watching out for that. The first signs of those storms are beginning to fire out there in western Arkansas right now, and it looks like those will move closer and closer to us as we go throughout the overnight hours. Probably by 5 or 6 in the morning, we'll be watching northwest Mississippi. A lot of that should be done by early afternoon, and we'll just see how it plays out.
All right, we'll keep everyone posted on social media throughout the morning.
That's right.
Yeah, Steve, thank you. Have a great night.